Man, let me tell you, I never thought a simple Saturday trip to the toy store with my daughter would turn into a courtroom fight that nearly cost me everything. I'm talking about my reputation, my peace of mind, even the way my little girl looks at me when she thinks about safety and trust. It started as one of those ordinary father-daughter afternoons, the kind you think you'll treasure forever. But it spun out so far that by the end of it, I was standing in front of flashing lights, with my hands on the hood of my own car, being treated like a criminal. All because of one woman who decided her son deserved something more than mine. We had walked into Brightmart Toys on the edge of Brookfield, just me and my 7-year-old Macy. She was buzzing with excitement, the kind of joy only a kid feels when they're surrounded by walls of Legos and dolls and glitter pens. She was clutching my hand carefully, weighing the difference between a big castle set and a space station. I was soaking it up, man, those little moments where she forgets the world exists and just looks at me with those wide eyes asking if I think knights could beat astronauts. I remember smiling, thinking this is what life's about. And then she showed up. This woman in a neon green tracksuit, hair fried from one too many dye jobs, face pinched like she'd been smelling sour milk all morning. Her son, maybe 10, already had the same sour scowl stamped on him, arms crossed, like he was auditioning for a role as CEO of Entitlement Incorporated. She didn't even ease into it. First words out of her mouth were, "I'd appreciate it if you kept your culture at a distance from my son." I thought she was on a Bluetooth call. At first it was so absurd, so offensive I couldn't process it as real. But then I saw her eyes. 2 little shards of ice staring right at me and then down to my sneakers like she was measuring me up. I almost just walked away. That's the survival instinct. You don't feed the troll. You don't fight the crazy. But Macy looked up at me, smile gone, her little brow furrowed in confusion. She didn't catch the weight of the words, but she knew it was mean. And I wasn't about to teach her that when someone spits venom at you, you just swallow it. So I looked this woman right in the eye and said, calm as I could, "I'm sorry, did you say something to me?" She snapped back. "You heard me. My son and I are trying to have a pleasant shopping experience and you're being very loud." Loud. We'd barely whispered about Lego nights. Meanwhile, her kid was whining like a kettle about wanting the most expensive set on the top shelf. I said quietly, "Ma'am, my daughter and I are just looking at toys. We're not bothering anyone." She yanked her son closer like I was radioactive. "He wants that one," she said, pointing at the space station set. The one with a price tag that made me flinch. I stepped aside with Macy, trying to be the bigger person. But she didn't let it go. Her son clutched the box, smug as could be, and she turned back to me with this syrupy tone that was somehow worse than her hostility. "My angel deserves a special treat. He's had such a hard week." I ignored her, leaned down to Macy and said, "Let's go check out the art supplies." But she stepped right into my path, blocking us. "I'm talking to you," she snapped. "Don't you dare turn your back on me. My son deserves that set, but things are tight for us. You should buy it for him." I froze. I thought I misheard. But no, she was dead serious. "You can clearly afford it," she added, her eyes flicking over my sneakers again. And then she looked down at my daughter, still holding my hand, and with a curl of her lip, she implied her son deserved it more than Macy. That was the line. "Are you out of your mind?" I asked, my voice low now, protective. "First you insult my child, and now you demand I buy something for yours. Back away from us." Her son puffed up, chimed in, and "Yeah, Mom," said, "You should buy it. I deserve it." Like I was some ATM machine in human form. And that's when she flipped the script. She raised her voice, shrieking, "You're upsetting the children! You're cruel!" Heads turned, shoppers paused. Eyes darted between me, a 6'2" black man in jeans, and her, a smaller, frantic white woman clutching her boy. I knew the image. I knew the stereotype. I could feel the weight of 100 unspoken judgments pressing down. So I softened my body, unclenched my fists, made my voice calm. We're done here. I'm leaving with my daughter. But she blocked us again. You're going to buy my son this toy, or you're not going anywhere. Her son tugged my sleeve. I pulled my arm back instinctively. She gasped like I'd punched him. Did you see that? He attacked my child. A teenage store worker shuffled over, voice shaking. Is there a problem? Karen pointed at me like a prosecutor, shrieking. This man assaulted my son. He's been harassing us. He's dangerous. Macy's hand crushed mine, her little face pale with fear. I said, "That's a lie." She approached me, insulted me, demanded I buy her son a toy, and when I refused, she escalated. The poor employee looked like he wanted to melt into the floor. And she screamed, "Get the manager! Remove him from the store!" At that moment, I scooped up Macy. We're leaving. But as I turned, she shouted after me, "You're not getting away with this. I'm calling the police. I'm telling them you tried to kidnap my son." And those words hit like a sucker punch. Kidnapping. That's a nuclear accusation. Out in the parking lot, as I strapped Macy into her booster, she followed, still shrieking. Her son mirrored her stance, glaring at me like I was the villain she painted. She pulled out her phone, dialing 911, voice quivering with fake tears. "Hello, there's a large aggressive man. He assaulted my son. I think he's trying to take him. We're terrified." She knew every buzzword, every button to push. And as she gave them my car description, she twisted the knife. "He has a child with him. I don't even know if it's his." That one line turned my world upside down. Sirens wailed closer. I held Macy tight, whispering, "It's okay, baby. It's okay," even though I was shaking inside. When the cruisers screeched in doors flying open, officers had their hands on holsters. "Sir, put the child down," one barked. My daughter clung to me, but I forced myself to lower her gently. She latched onto my leg. "Turn around." Hands on the hood. They patted me down, cold metal under my palms. Humiliation burning my face while Karen sobbed to another officer, spinning her story like she was auditioning for Broadway. I told my truth, how it started, the insults, the demand, the lies. The lead officer gave me a skeptical look and said, "So you're telling me this woman just demanded you buy her son a toy, and when you said no, she accused you of kidnapping? Her story's a little more believable than yours, don't you think?" That line, it felt like a verdict. I argued, I pointed out the logic gaps, but he shrugged. She said she was scared. Scared she'd chased me to my car. Then when he leaned down to question my 7-year-old, trying to coax her into incriminating me, I snapped. "Don't you talk to my daughter," I said, stepping forward before catching myself. His hand flew to his belt. I froze, hands up. "Please, don't upset my child." His partner came back from the store saying the aisle cameras were dummies the employee witness had just clocked out. My hope collapsed. Finally, the officer said, "I'm not arresting you today, but we're filing a report. An investigator will be in contact. Stay away from her." I left feeling like a man branded guilty without trial. That night was the hardest of my life. Macy curled under her blanket, asking if it was her fault if wanting the castle set made that lady mad. I hugged her tight, whispered, "No, no, never." But inside I was unraveling. I Googled false police report, saw horror stories of men ruined by lies. I barely slept. Then a video surfaced online, just a snippet of me shouting, "Leave us alone," and Karen dialing 911 with fake tears. The caption read, "Angry man threatens elderly woman and child at toy store." The comments were knives thug, monster, take his kid away. My face dragged through the digital mud. But then I found help. I hired a lawyer, Mr. Harrison, a pit bull in a suit. He believed me. "This is defamation, malicious reporting," he said. He brought in Frank, a private investigator. Together they dug deep. They found 2 store employees who swore they'd heard Karen demand I buy the toy. One had even been fired for refusing to go along with the manager's lie about the cameras being fake. And Frank uncovered a bombshell. This wasn't Karen's first rodeo. She had pulled the same stunt in Arizona and Nevada, targeting minority men with wild accusations. Both times charges were dropped, but not before innocent men got arrested. She wasn't just entitled, she was a predator. The toy store's corporate office got nervous fast when Mr. Harrison showed them our evidence. Turns out the cameras were real, the manager had lied to cover liability. And the footage. Oh man, seeing that silent video of her stepping into my path, jabbing her finger, me shaking my head, her suddenly exploding into theatrics, it was vindication on screen. Armed with that, the witness statements and her history, we took her to court. The deposition was brutal. She came in all beige pantsuit and fake respectability, but when Mr. Harrison started pulling police reports from her past, she cracked. Denied everything until he slid the papers across. Finally, she screeched, "You people are always sticking together," and that was it. The mask dropped. The stenographer typed every word. Her lawyer buried his face in his hands. She had sunk her own ship. The judge didn't hold back. Called her actions malicious, defamatory, reprehensible. Ordered damages, a permanent restraining order, and most importantly, a public retraction on every platform she'd used to smear me. Watching her post that stiff apology, admitting she lied, man, it wasn't joy, I felt it was relief. Relief that my daughter was safe, that my name was cleared, that truth had clawed its way out. I took the settlement money and did something with it. Set up the Vindication Fund to help other men, especially men of color, who get hit with false accusations but don't have the resources to fight back. My daughter helped me design the logo, a shield with a sun rising behind it. She said, "It's to protect people and make the truth come out like the sun." Out of the mouths of babes, right? That fund has already helped a few families, and every time I get a thank you, I think back to that day and how close I came to losing everything. As for Karen, she's a ghost now. Probation counseling reputation destroyed. She tried to ruin me, but she only exposed herself. I don't even hate her anymore, just pity. She lives in the prison of her own bitterness. Me. I've got my daughter stronger than ever, coloring at the kitchen table, laughing again. We call it the silly lady incident now. It's a scar, but it's healed. So yeah, it all started with a demand in a toy store and ended with a courtroom victory. It taught me that some people will weaponize lies, but you can fight back with truth and persistence. And now I want to hear from you. What would you have done in that toy aisle? Should I have walked away at the first insult, or stood my ground the way I did? Do you think the system is stacked in favor of people like her, or was justice finally served in the end? Drop your thoughts down below, because this is the kind of story that sparks debate, and I want to know exactly where you stand.